That acceleration is everything.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's instant. Oh my God.
That's faster. So boost, that makes a difference. Dude, it's... You could just keep this car at straight tire squeal wherever you go, because it's unpredictable as to what the car will do. The initial throttle tip-in definitely does the front motor, and if you keep turning, then it seems to just kind of shut off the front motor and go all rear motor, and then you go from understeer to oversteer, and you haven't changed a thing. That's just a situation that, like, combustion cars, even all-wheel drive combustion cars, don't deal with. This video is brought to you by Iona, North America's premier charging network. With unmatched commitment to elevating the customer experience, Iona is opening America's roads to all EVs, giving drivers the coverage they need, the reliability they deserve, and the amenities they crave. Holy smokes, welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. No, I am not in China, but I am with a Chinese car yet again. This is the Zeekr 001 FR. It is like Lucid Sapphire, Model S Plaid Taycan Turbo GT competitor. 930 kilowatts, that's like 1260 horsepower, hatchback. Crazy. Now, you and I have driven many Zeekrs on this channel, but this is the one I've really wanted to have a go in. A lot of you know I'm a driving enthusiast. I love performance vehicles. I'm thrilled with the level of performance that you can get out of electric vehicles. And this is right up there with the top that the Chinese market is offering. So in this video, I'm going to drive here in the San Jose, California area, the Zeekr 001 FR. A huge shout out to Zeekr for shipping this car all the way from China for folks like myself and Forrest and other of our friends to make videos with here in the US. I flew up for the day just to borrow this for a couple hours on my way to another event. So we don't have that much time with it in this video, but I have asked them to send it to the track in North Carolina. If you comment, you want to see a track review of this against the Model S Plaid track pack, maybe Zeekr will send it out to us. So please put that in the comments because, man, I want to get this thing on our track so bad. It's insane. In this video, we're going to drive it for the first time. I'm going to show you some of its cool features. We're going to explore track mode. My buddy Chris and I are going to take it up into the canyon shredding, and it should be tons of fun. So join me for my first drive of the Zeekr 001 FR. Well, guys, here it is, the 001 FR, straight from China. This thing's got like 4,000 kilometers in it, and man, it's a cool looking vehicle. So just a quick background on the 001. This is built on SEA, which is very similar to like Polestar 4, or like it's a scaled up version of the EX30 and Zeekr X, for example, but it's just dialed up to 11. What frustrates me the most about this car is we are getting an SEA vehicle on this platform that order banks just opened in the US for the Polestar 4, except the Polestar 4 is low voltage, low performance comparatively, and this is a 800 volt system architecture, charges from 10 to 80 in 15 minutes, has over 1,200 horsepower. Why can't you just sell this with a Polestar badge in our market? So I'm just jealous because always the grass is greener on the other side, but vehicles like the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra, which looks insane, and this vehicle here, I want them so bad in the US. So 1,000 horsepower EVs are not foreign to me. I've done Taycan Turbo GT on the Nürburgring. You and I have driven that car at 200 miles an hour on the Autobahn, flat out for hours on end, charging, ripping. I own a Tesla Model S Plaid with the track package. So I've driven most of this car's competitors extensively, except for the Sapphire, which is happening very soon. Shout out to Lucid to make that happen. And the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra. But I'm getting through I want to hit all the 1,000 horsepower EVs. So today's my day to hit the 001 FR. Now, I saw this car. Oh, holy smokes, a B-Class electric. Check that out. That's awesome. I own one of those, actually. Not 1,000 horsepower, but Tesla powered and does massive front-wheel drive burnouts. This car, 001 FR, has ceramic brakes. It's on a really good looking 22-inch wheel and tire package, which is a bit surprising, and it seems high off the ground. Like, the 001 is extremely popular in China. You see these things everywhere, and you don't see FRs everywhere. So equivalent pricing is around 100, $110,000 plus or minus if you were to translate it. I don't know, certain people, it's anywhere between like 110 and 140 grand Chinese translated to the US. If you buy this car in Australia, it's like 200 and something thousand dollars. Let me show you around the inside and around the back. It's got some interesting things. It's not clearly dedicated for performance because they put power doors in there and a really luxurious interior and a bunch of software features. It has dog mode, it does tank turns, it's got a great sound system apparently. And so you're like, okay, this is max luxury and max performance. I hate power doors on any car, by the way. They're just the worst. They're always annoying. But then you've got carbon buckets, you know, carbon seat back buckets, I should say. They're not actual carbon buckets like the Turbo GT has. And this massive wing on the back of what's really a hatchback. That's just absolutely crazy to have something like that. Now I can pull the car forwards and show you around it later on, but the cool thing is this is kind of a 1200 horsepower hot hatch. It's big, yes, but it's got, you know, plenty of storage space. You can see I got my bag back here. Does it have underfloor storage? Not really, not much. And it just seems like a practical hatchback. Now, we've made videos with the Polestar 4 on this channel, and Chris, if you could come on over here, I'd love to show everyone the charging port. So this, you know, it just seems like a nice practical hatchback that you can like daily drive, and it's got insane power, but hopefully good handling. That's what I'm going to figure out. Kimi Räikkönen, who's like one of the coolest drivers of all times, has a specific mode that he developed and tuned for this car. It's also got a track mode where you can like dial in torque distribution and ESP and all the stuff you would expect when you start getting into ultra high performance electric cars. I should mention the motors. I've featured them in other videos. This has two carbon wrapped permanent magnet motors in the rear, so very similar to the Plaid's rear setup, and then a single motor up front. So it does make significantly more power on the rear axle than the front, which is great for balance. We're going to see how well that translates in the canyons. Again, this car is just so much car for the street that we really do need to get it on track. Again, comment below, tell Zeekr, send it to the out-of-spec track in North Carolina. All right, take a look over here. He says, the world's slowest charge port door for the fastest car. You have your AC and DC charging points. This car, again, being a Chinese car, uses GBT. So you have, you know, about 400 kilowatt charging on this thing, roughly 10 to 80 in 15 minutes, 100 kilowatt hour CATL chill-in pack. And the chill-in packs are pretty cool. The Smart #5 uses a very similar battery to this. I believe this has enhanced cooling and some other stuff. It's not the LFP golden brick. They needed to go NMC just to get the huge discharge current out of it. And so that actually does limit your charging performance a bit, which is weird that their LFP offerings charge better. But still, it's 10 to 80 in 15 minutes is, you know, that's class leading in this segment. It's right up there with Taycan. Actually, it's better than Taycan, but a little bit smaller usable capacity than Taycan. The range isn't amazing. It's going to be like mid 200 miles, I would guess, because it's got these chunky wheels and tires and a lot of aero bits, and this wing is not helping with range at all. Let's take a look to see what the heck we're rolling tire-wise. So we've got Pirelli P0 Elect, which is, you know, probably an OE tire, although some of the Chinese cars just don't do an OE tire. So it's 295, 35, R22 in the back. So 295 is not, you know, look, it's not crazy. That's what a Plaid rear tire would be. And then up front, we've got 265. So we do have a staggered setup, a little bit more juice in the rear. Again, carbon ceramic brakes with AP Racing calipers, very similar setup to the Model S track pack braking package from what I can see and look at there. And it feels a little bit weird because the 001 like doesn't seem like a great performance chassis to start with, but neither does a Model S and neither does a Lucid Air on paper. These are big, you know, sedans. It just, the value here seems really good to get, you know, about $100,000, all that power. Power is not the equation to performance though. A lot of it comes down to suspension, brakes, steering feel tuning. Now this is where I'm really going to focus on in this video, because most every Chinese car I've ever driven, even the Xiaomi SU7, which I was super impressed with that car, they all have a bit of like missing something. Like they just weren't tuned to the level that you would expect a Taycan out of Germany from Porsche, where they spend their entire careers learning how to calibrate that specific bushing in the lower control arm. Just, you know, making stuff up. But that level of attention we haven't seen from Chinese cars. Partially, that's because their rapid time to development is insane. So a lot of the vehicle development's done in simulation and not on tracks. So you basically simulate the vehicle's handling characteristics and attributes that you want. You produce a prototype and you go, okay, a couple little valving, tuning changes there, boom, ship it. And I feel like most Western buyers of vehicles and reviewers especially, so folks like myself who are real nerd drivers, we really care about that last 5% of tuning and engineering. And no Chinese car that I've driven so far has it completely dialed. The Xiaomi had a little bit weird, like over-intrusive driver assistance that was just slamming on the brakes sometimes. This, I feel like, might do the same thing, but we're certainly gonna find out. So we're gonna take this up on some good driving roads and just get a sense of, does it feel like a cohesive, holistic package? Because yes, it's so impressive that you can do 0 to 60 in 2.02 seconds or whatever they claim. Insane, straight line performance. We got that. All electric cars are fast. This is on another level. This is right up there with the big boys. But does it brake? Does it steer? Does it feel like it was really designed to be, a performance car in all areas of performance? Or did they just take their hatchback and put a ton of power in it? Honestly, I'm kind of okay with either way. I hope it does drive really well though. So join me and Chris as we go inside. I'm gonna show you, we're gonna go for a drive. At the end of the video, I'll just walk you through some cool software features that it has, which most of you will probably find a little bit boring, but it's got some cool modes, track mode, stuff like that. I'll show you that towards the end. And the only last thing to do, Chris, is to show the front trunk, right? We didn't show that.
Let's pop it.
All right, I gotta pop it up. So how the heck do we even do it in this car? I just go over here, pull it 2 times. So this is a Hellcat ripping the rear tires off that thing. Nice. Oh, it's not too bad. We've got a little front trunk action here, enough to keep whatever they put in here. Oh, spare tire kit. So cool, by the way, to be driving a Chinese car in the US on manufacturer plates. Honestly, not totally sure of the legalities of everything of me driving this and how that all is going to work, but I'm not asking many questions. We're just going to go rip it. Guys, you join me and my buddy Chris in the 001 FR in America.
This is awesome.
Dude, we couldn't even drive this thing when we were in China. They only build 99 a month.
Yeah.
They're super rare. I mean, super rare compared to how many other Zeekrs they build.
Right.
I've been in the factory where they make this car though, and it was all tuned and tested on the Ningbo circuit, where I have a video on my personal channel ripping a Lynk & Co 03 Plus Cyan, which is like their combustion hot front wheel drive spicy car actually. It was pretty good for a front wheel drive car. Ripping that around the Ningbo circuit, which is a really great track. So I have really high expectations for this car. Although we just talked to our buddy Forrest,
yep,
and he was saying they put the worst tires ever on this thing. And I'm like, honestly, I drove it over here like a mile.
And they're probably a little bit worse now that Forrest has had them. Yeah,
Forrest said he was smoking them up. But I drove it over here a mile too, and I was just like, could not get the power down. It's just on this Pirelli P0 Elect tire. I really think it needs maybe something a little bit spicy. The other thing I would have loved to show the viewers is the tank turn mode.
Right.
And unfortunately, when this car was in shipping, they put some weird software on it or something happened where you also got all this media control. You can watch all Chinese services. This is not a connected car at the moment. It bricked the tank turn feature. It might need to be connected for that, I'm not sure. But Forrest said he couldn't get the sound system to go, or he couldn't get tank turn to work.
Right.
And that's just what happens when you pull a car out of its natural environment.
Yep.
Weird stuff happens. But that's not what we're concerned about at the moment. We do have rear steer, so getting around the parking lot's really nice. There's one pedal driving as an option if you wanted to have it on. And I've got a bunch of different drive modes that I can choose from. So I can pull down from the top, and I've got a bunch here. So I have comfort, eco, sport, let's think. This is snow, sand, off-road, and then personal. And the way I have it set up is personal is like max power on the drivetrain, kind of comfort everywhere else.
Yep.
So should be okay there. Let's figure out where the heck we gotta go and not scrape the front carbon splitter on this thing, which would be a disaster because it's the one of one 001 FR.
Yeah, you don't have to explain that.
No, I don't want to explain it. Although Zeekr's kind of cool. Like, they brought over a Zeekr mix. There's one of those in LA, I think, just for journalists to like play around with and drive. So a huge shout out to them. as far as I know, they currently have no plans to launch in the US.
No, when I talked to them this past weekend, they were doing things with Waymo, and as part of their partnership with the new vans that they're making with them.
Yeah, the mixes they're doing with Waymo, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really great to see them in the Bay Area doing that, and I think it pushes, they're right there in that neighborhood. You know, I was there with Ford, you got Tesla right across the street, you got Rivian right over there. For them to put this out there into the market, even to be visible as a demonstrator, I think put some pressure on some American companies to up their level.
Dude, it's pretty wild just being able to go to China a few times this year and experience not just these cars, but other vehicles as well. How good they are.
Yeah.
And that's not to say they're like great in every category. I see a lot of the comments on the videos. I read the comments and I see where people are saying, hey, they're not safe. Well, this has a Euro 5-star NCAP crash safety rating. And I also want to say, like, Zeekr, first of all, they didn't pay for my flight to get here. I came here on my own dime to drive it. And also, secondly, they didn't tell me anything about the car. The lady just, I went to her house to pick this thing up. And she's just like, here's the car key, have a nice day.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, thanks so much. Didn't know about any of the tank turn stuff not working. I had to call Forrest because he just had this. Be like, bro, why does tank turn not work? And why'd you leave Doritos all over the floor?
Yeah, and everything's in Chinese, so at least you have some experience translating that from your trip, but it was interesting to navigate through and try to figure out what each thing was.
Dude, yeah, just getting around like software on Chinese cars is pretty, like, this is really intuitive, and the fact that I can kind of get around this without needing a translator for everything is awesome. Like, clearly I know it has dog mode, camp mode, car wash mode, some other stuff like right there, easily accessible, which is awesome. And we know how to get into track mode and all of those things. And launch control works. We did do one of those. We'll do another one, of course, later on for the viewers. But in general, like, I just wish they could put an English menu in here.
Yeah. Yeah, parts are in English, but like 80-90% of it isn't.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they do support English language. They just didn't load that software on this car because they're sold in Australia.
Yeah.
And Zeekr's getting pretty popular in Australia, actually. There's some great Australian YouTubers I met recently at an Xpeng event, and they were like, Zeekrs are really picking up there.
And Zeekr being a Geely company, and with Volvo and Polestar is doing some stuff out in the East with some manufacturing. Love to see this come out maybe as a non-Zeekr spec, but kind of the same flavor at some point.
Yeah, like, give us, like, why does Polestar 4 have to be so shitty? Why do we get the low voltage, slow charging, low power when this exists?
Right. 800 volts, it's right here. We're sitting in it.
Yeah, like, put this, like, the Polestar 4 is like the first generation 001.
Yeah.
They did a facelift to this car, went high voltage, added the FR package. Like, make this a Polestar. Or, Chris, another idea, fold Polestar back into Volvo. Because Polestar's struggling as a brand globally.
I mean, it was their hot spec. The Polestar was their performance.
That was the idea. It was like the M or the AMG within Volvo. And I'm a Polestar owner, so like I own one of their cars. I love my Polestar, but I think they should fold back into Volvo, and then this should take the place of Polestar.
Yeah.
Like, bring Zeekr to America because they're so cool, and they've got like great Lynk & Co type styling and just really good tech. And this thing is fast as hell. So what I'm going to do is let traffic kind of get ahead of us a little bit here.
Yeah.
And we're just merging onto the highway in just, getting over to the canyons. It is important that any one of these electric crazy machines is also comfortable for the daily use. So as we merge onto the highway, I'm just going to juice it. Let's just get a sense of power. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to roll into it.
That acceleration is everything.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Four motor power, accelerating onto a freeway on-ramp, like being able to just see a place and then be at that place when you want to.
Dude, everything's in kilometers, so if you see big numbers, it's not not in freedom units. All right, we're next to a car. Watch this.
Oh, we're out of here. It continues to pull G's as you progress. It doesn't get lighter. That's great.
So that won't get old, and it feels solid. Like, it doesn't, there's nothing straining, right? The motors don't sound like you're gonna rip the motor mounts out of them. You don't hear inverter whine. It's just dead silent pull, and it's fast.
Yeah, it is beyond fast. It's quick as hell.
I mean, we're both kind of jaded. We've been in a lot of fast cars.
Yeah.
And this is every bit as fast as like Taycan Turbo S. I'm not sure it's Turbo GT level, and I don't know if I have it dialed up into the max setting at the moment. I think track mode unlocks the full power.
Right.
So I think this is just like normal whatever, and it also seems to roll into the power. So if I just mat it,
There's that little.
There's a delay.
There is a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is my personal setting where I thought I put everything on, but I forgot about this, Chris. There's a boost mode.
Boost mode. That's
we gotta try that.
Like the Ioniq, right? Has that.
So I've got boost selected. All right. Should we see if that makes a difference now?
See if that's instant. Oh my god.
That's faster. So boost, that makes a difference. What the heck? This car, it's got the straight line performance.
Yeah, and what's great about it is it also has the other amenities you talked about from a daily perspective, where we're with not heated, but cooling seats right now.
And massaging
seats. It's got adjustable support on the seats, so you can like make it hug you and keep you in place when Kyle is driving.
Yeah, and the driver assistance is bricked here, but yeah, it's like saying take over.
Yeah. Well, because it doesn't have any, no mapped highways or anything in the U.S. I don't think they would let them map it.
Oh, actually, you know what?
Is it doing lane centering?
It's doing adaptive cruise at least, and I'm not sure. It thinks there's people walking around the car.
There's somebody behind us and somebody on the left.
The software is totally bricked. I'm covering the brakes just in case it does something weird. It thinks there's a car like facing us over there.
Yeah, that is great.
But it is doing adaptive cruise at least, which is nice. And none of the displays are updating for what I'm looking for here. Anyway, okay, we've got tons of different menus to go through. Yeah, this is just a cool experience. Yeah. Just a couple hour drive.
Is that giving you your motor temperatures? That's pretty cool. All four of your motor temperatures.
That's actually tire temp.
Oh, tire temp. Okay.
Yep. We're in a 001 FR in traffic. This has to change. To the canyons.
We got to get somewhere. Get somewhere quick.
We have found ourselves on some great roads now.
This is what it's made for.
Hell yeah. So we've just taken a couple corners to get up here, and we figured out the traction control tuning was really bad. It was like thumping the motors. It's just like way too intrusive, and you get these big knocks of when it wouldn't know what to do with each motor. So once we get through this construction zone, we'll be able to see if backing it down to ESC Sport makes a difference. We also have track mode at our disposal, which we are definitely going to try out for sure.
I think that'll change a lot.
Yeah, let's hope so. So coming up, we got the guy waving us on, even though he's got the stop sign. He said, come on through. No problem. We can do that. A lot of construction going on in this area, which is exciting to see. But nice empty day to be up here in the canyons, dude.
It's going to be perfect for this car.
I think so. And yeah, once we get out of here, let's get some power going, see how it feels. Seating position, I'm sit a little bit too high like we were talking about, but overall, seems good. So, foot down.
There we go. Just past the construction area.
Dang, it just rockets out of there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And, from a ride quality standpoint, it feels really solid. It has a little bit of that Volvo Polestar-like chassis. Feels really nice, especially in daily cruising. And coming through here, like we got a big impact bump, nice and compliant.
Yep, that's great.
And I think that's okay, considering that this is really going to be, a daily driver that someone buys to have some fun with. Because we can just come, cruising through here, lean on the brakes. Let's try some of those out.
Get the ceramic heated up.
Yeah, got to get some heat in them, that's for sure. Brake pedal feels very brake-by-wiry. There's no real ABS feedback in there. It's just a little clicking function. And that's fine. That's how a lot of modern cars are, but easy to modulate. I even noticed, I was driving a Ferrari yesterday in LA, and it had the hardest to modulate ceramic brakes at low speed. The brake pedal tuning in this is amazing, and it also has a easy stop function where you can keep your foot in the same position braking, and then it will, sort of trail off the braking force at the end so you don't get a head toss when you come to zero.
It's interesting the brakes are done so well, but the ESC is not.
Yeah, the ESC was not done well at all. Will this Prius pull out of the way for us? Negative. So we'll just wait here until...
Give it a second.
Yeah. Let's just take a couple corners, shall we?
Yeah, see how it does.
Goodness gracious, the power and performance is great. The rear steer is super nice.
Yeah, the rear steer.
Dude, the seat belts are grabbing us so hard. The balance is great.
Oh, that feels great right there.
That feels awesome, and I can tell forward collision warning going off. The Prius is pulling for us.
Thank you, Prius.
Thank you.
Thanks. You're awesome. He gave you the beat back.
Yep. Dude, the brakes are great. That's good to see. Finally, a Chinese car with good balance and brakes.
That's great. It feels like it's really nice right there.
Yeah, so it's right on the edge of the front tire. And we're just in ESC Sport, so I can feel it kind of, holding me back a little bit. But
Thank you, Tacoma.
Nice to the Tacoma to pull off for us as well. But it's actually a Chinese car that feels really good to drive. Holy smokes. Whoa, the performance in a straight line. Can't get over that.
Now you changed the ESC setting. Do you feel a difference now from what it was before?
Yeah, now it kind of lets me get to the limit. I can even go wide open throttle, and it's just like a nice, soft, input where it's like, okay, I'll give you a little bit, and it'll just hold you there. And I'm definitely just driving it on the systems around some of those corners.
Yeah.
Definitely want to try track mode, though. Seatbelt. Hopefully track mode shuts off the seatbelt yank thing. My Polestar 1 actually got a software update that fixed that.
Okay.
So, yeah. Got a diesel truck trying to take the racing line through that corner. Nice.
Ford drivers, man. Come on, let's go.
The best in the world, actually. Oh, thanks for pulling for us. Appreciate that. This is the road I've ripped so many cars on. I did my Lyric review on this road, actually. So you can see as soon as we get, Lyric and Lucid.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a little bit of rotation, it rips the seat belts.
Yeah, it does.
So it just needs way more tire.
That one felt like it kind of nudged you a bit.
I'm trying to rotate it on purpose now. So
Okay.
like, if I just mat it here, that's floored. As we come straight, then it unlocks. So you really kind of do need track mode. But still, initially, when I got on the throttle there, for example, it does rip the front motor pretty hard. So I kind of wish it wouldn't be so front. Like,
Biased.
just always start with the rear and then bring in the front. Let's just floor it.
Let's talk about that with your Cybertruck too.
It's just spun all the tires pulling out of there. That's crazy. So, all right. We know that this thing is way better than I expected dynamically, but we haven't tried the real party trick, which I think we need to be in park.
Yeah, I don't think it'll let you go into it until we come to a stop.
All right, so let's just pull over here. Skirt. Full brakes.
Let's see if it'll go to track mode.
Track mode.
Let's see.
Into park. It's giving us like, oh, we're in.
There we go.
Okay, track mode is in. So I can go torque distribution, stability control, all of these things. Regen braking up, steering in the middle. So I've got different displays here to look at, and we have, torque distribution, I've put 60 in the rear, 40 up front just to start. Stability control, I've backed off a little bit. Regen to max, and steering gear in the middle. So
that display screen's awesome.
yeah, wow, that's kind of cool, isn't it? I wonder if this camera, oh yeah, it totally picks
Does it pick it up?
Yeah.
About to do something cool.
Oh, way more regen, dude.
You
Way
got it
more
100%,
regen. Yeah. So let's just feel that really quick. So that's regen off throttle, hit the brakes, and it adds more regen.
Yeah, that's great.
That is awesome. And then you can just roll into it.
They do so many things right in this.
I can't believe we're already down to 70% charge.
Let's not run out.
Yeah. Dude, it chugs the juice when
Yeah.
you drive it hard. But it's really impressive. Look, I wouldn't say it has the balance and fluidity of a Taycan Turbo GT.
That's what I was just thinking, yeah.
Or even a Lucid Air Sapphire, which I haven't driven yet, but I've driven the Grand Touring Performance. It doesn't have the cohesiveness. And it feels like we're like way too high up, and it's like they added all the power, they put the brakes on it, and the suspension's way soft, which is weird. And I'm not even sure it has adaptive damper, because I haven't felt it change all that much. I'm pretty sure it does, but it's a really soft setup, which I think is what a lot of Chinese customers are looking for. I think if they brought it here, they should partner with Polestar on those Öhlins dampers and chassis tuning, and it would just stiffen it up and make it feel really, great under high load situations. And then also, I think the ESP needs some work.
Yeah.
It was a little bit weird. Like even in sport mode, like a couple times, like it never stopped turning. Like there was not a hint of understeer. And I threw it in a couple times and it would just send it out sideways. And I'm like, that's great. So they have completely eliminated understeer with this car, which is very impressive. The tire is not great.
That could be a big part of it.
Yeah, and you can even see we weren't even going that fast, and we were just squealing tires everywhere.
Yeah.
The breakaway characteristics of these P0s aren't amazing compared to what I would like out of a, like a Cup 2 tire would be great, or even just like a PSS5 or PS4S would be a really nice upgrade for this car, I think.
Something to give it some bite.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more bite, and then just a little smoother breakaway would be really nice. But what we're going to do is, now that we've got it dialed up in track mode, is find another good road and go drive that in track mode.
Nice.
So see how that goes. It has a bit of like EV6 GT or Ioniq 5N, just like a lot of body motions because we're sitting up high. And it's like one suspension adjustment away from being absolutely rapid. Just mad at it.
Yeah, now it's just falling. Oh my God.
It doesn't stop pulling to a very high speed.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Don't know the conversion on that. Here in Mexico, it's hard to tell.
The conversion is whatever the posted speed limit is. It's 55 miles an hour. It gets there real quick. Wow.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
It just pulled and pulled and pulled all the way up. And so, you know, brakes great. Actually handling balance and rotation, great. This on track would be a drift machine.
Yeah.
And I really can't wait to try that out. And actually, this is great on a bumpy road. Like if you were on a really like loose dirt surface or a rough surface, this would be really fun to push hard. And it's just got so much power. So it's kind of like Ioniq 5N with twice the power.
Which is crazy to think of. It's 1240 or something that's in here.
Yeah, I've seen so many different conversions, but almost 1,000 kilowatts. It's almost a megawatt car.
Yeah.
A mega car. Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely churns up my stomach a bit, that's for sure. Whoa, you feel that through there?
It did, yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was you or if that was the car.
No, I was consistent in everything.
Yeah.
It happened when I hit the line. It almost felt like lane departure avoidance.
Yeah, like it was trying to kick you back in or something.
Yeah, but in track mode. Oh my gosh. Yeah, as soon as you hit a pretty big number, it feels like you almost get like a second gear. That's not, it's a single gear system. And it just starts pulling harder up top.
Yeah, it wants to give you power all the way through.
That is absolutely insane. And so as long as you're gentle with it, because it is quite heavy, really, it feels really heavy, and it's got a lot of these squishy body motions, as long as you're gentle with it, it totally rewards you, I would say.
I mean, it's got a 100 kilowatt hour battery. It's the same size battery, well, a little bit bigger than my Lightning, my original standard range had.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a lot of battery under this car.
Yeah, and we've already burned 45% of it.
You are not buying this for efficiency at all.
Yeah, 35% I should say. My math ain't great. So
Now
we've got
that you're
battery status, we've got motor temperature, we've got brake pads and tire performance.
It's all green.
So I love that it gives you all of that detail. Well guys, you join us on the downhill now, and just playing around with some settings. We put the stability control down just a little bit. And not that we're doing anything crazy on public roads. I just, sometimes the ESP can be a little bit super intervention-y. And the front tire feels like it needs just a little bit more. And it does some weird, so there are some weird oddities from a tuning perspective. Like coming out of that corner, I was giving it more and more and more and more. And it was like, felt a little bit bound up.
Yep.
And then as soon as we got the wheel straight, it rocketed off. And I can't totally figure out what it's doing. This isn't 100% unique to the Zeekr, by the way. Tesla Track Mode does stuff like this to me, more so in the Plaid than the Model 3 Performance. Like, I feel like Tesla Track Mode is way better tuned for Model 3 than Model S Plaid. At least for the type of driving I like to do, which is canyon roads or, you know, sliding around a track, not really going for lap times. And, yeah, I just think that couple extra days in the car, I'd get more used to it. I'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable to back everything down a bit more, send a little bit more power to the rear. Oh, yeah. And
a little bit of there.
You feel it just kind of move around a bit.
Yep.
And it does some weird stuff. So there is that. But you are controlling a lot of power with this car, of course. So
look at that guy.
Full knee down.
That was awesome. That felt good.
Yeah, that's the first understeer we felt. Yeah. And yeah, I think we might even have to back traction control off a little bit more, Chris. So let's just do a tiny bit more to the rear and put that to 2 into drive. It just spins all the way up.
Are the brakes starting to feel any different?
Nope, they feel great.
It's great.
That's where there's just so much front wheel performance pulling you out of there.
Man, it's like a jet.
Absolutely. We can even come over here and so it's like weird. You get this front motor push, you stay in it. Feel it do that?
Yep, right there.
So I had the exact same throttle position.
Yeah.
So it starts with the front motor. It goes, oh, you're understeering a bit.
Like changing.
And then it goes, let's give you more on the rear. And then you're like, opposite lock. And
Yeah.
so it's not, that's what just needs to be changed a little bit. But that's all threshold brake right up into there. Brakes are actually starting to feel a little hot there, if I'm honest.
Getting a little soft.
Yeah, they're still good.
Okay. A little bit more to give.
Wow, it's so effective. Yeah, wow, very nice. I think that sums it up. Absolute rocket ship in a straight line.
Fantastic fun.
It's really quite effective in the corners, but I think it's a tire away, it's a software update away, and a suspension system away from really matching the big boys in terms of refinement.
But really close.
It's not much work away from really getting it to be dialed. And if we had more room and a track, I think it would be a drift machine, which would be so fun.
Just got to get an engineer with you for a day.
Yeah, just like, let's dial this thing in, and you know, that's kind of it. It's just dude, it's you could just keep this car straight, tire squeal wherever you
The
go.
whole time, right? Right.
And that's also quite, because it's quite heavy. So there you go. I'm going to show you guys some cool software features, and then we'll end our quick drive of the 001 FR. But absolute crazy opportunity to be able to drive this Chinese electric car here in the US. And the fact that it's so good. I mean, I'm complaining about little like fine minutia details.
Yeah.
The fact that it is so fast, even on a back road, and so good is so impressive. The one thing I would just be really cautious to other people about is like, don't turn the traction control all the way off unless you have a lot of room.
Yeah.
And I only say that because it's unpredictable as to what the car will do.
It's going to do a couple different things to you, and you don't know exactly what it's going to do on each turn.
Yeah, at least not on the initial drive. Like maybe if we had this car for a couple weeks and I really got to live with it and understand, okay, the initial throttle tip in definitely does the front motor, and if you keep turning, then it seems to just kind of shut off the front motor and go all rear motor, and then you go from understeer to oversteer, and you haven't changed a thing. That's just a situation that like combustion cars, even all-wheel drive combustion cars, don't deal with.
Yeah.
And so that's just the weird tuning of getting three independent, unlinked electric motors to respond in unison, in harmony with what the driver is looking for. And that takes time and fine tuning, and they need to spend a bit more on it. In terms of its effectiveness though, probably on a wide open track where you're not dealing with that much room on either side of the car in a back road, this must be an absolute animal, and we've got to get it on track.
I think it would surprise people how solid it feels and how well it performs.
So with all that said, I'll show you a couple software features, then we'll end the video. But I think one last full launch. We haven't done like a full launch.
Send.
Yeah, from like a zero, like in launch mode. We haven't tried that yet.
No, just the one time early, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, and we're burned through almost half the battery now.
It's got to have enough to get back.
Yeah, we're in just normal sport mode, not track mode.
No, that didn't feel right.
Just spun the front tires the whole way.
that never connected.
No, that's the stuff that like Tesla has figured out by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Lucid probably, I would think, and Porsche for sure. So, okay. Let's go do some software stuff. But just an absolutely effective piece of machinery that just needs a little bit more refinement to kind of tick all the boxes.
Overall, well done, Zeekr.
Oh yeah, total. I mean, just well done for even doing it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, guys, we are back in the parking lot from where we started, and holy smokes, this thing is just an absolute very fast weapon of a car. But like we mentioned, some drivetrain tuning still needed. Let me just show you a little bit of the interior and software and other stuff that doesn't matter so much. There we go. That was delayed. Took a second for the keyless entry to start, but it's just, you know, typical Polestar 4 sizing or 001 sizing. Nothing unusual back here. Nice spacious back seat, a little screen for the rear, which is cool. It'd be cool if this showed you like performance data, but it doesn't look like it does, but that'd be pretty sweet. I just love the FR seats and stitching, and red seat belts, and they really went in to just do absolutely high quality materials everywhere. And Chris and I were also saying just how comfortable and quiet this car is. Dude, what was your impression just driving around with it?
I thought it was just really smooth. It felt great. Like, I think it's one of those things where you could use this every day as a sleeper car, and then when you need to go full send, it's on the way. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
really impressive.
Absolutely. It's surprisingly compliant given its performance, which does let it down a little bit in the canyons, but like these auto doors, it doesn't need any of that. The car drives a bit heavy, and that's okay for the intended use case, I guess. One thing I really have to commend Zeekr on is their software platform. I think it's snappy. It works well. It works with a Snapdragon 8295 chip. Incredibly fast, incredibly responsive. You can see the maps don't load the US stuff, but as fast as you can hit anything, boom, you are right there. Like, for example, look at this. That is just crazy. As fast as you can make it go. And I have a full tour of this software experience on the Out of Spec Reviews channel, this channel, with the Zeekr Mix, talking about that. And it's pretty much the same thing. You could throw it in dog mode if you want to, boom, just like that. You've got your pet comfort function going, just basic little things that this car has that I just wish so many other Western vehicles could catch up and do. And certainly there are some on sale, but the competition here in America is like, we were just talking, like, Chris has that F-150 Lightning. Awesome truck. We're both huge Lightning fans. Still no dog mode. What's up with that, dude?
No dog mode, no camp mode, just so many basic things that would be great to have right there. All the cameras that surround it, but there's no kind of camera recording or anything. Everything is there with the potential. And it's just, they just need to spend time with these engineers and bring some of that to their snappiness, isn't there yet. Maybe future generations, but right now, big gap.
Yep, totally. And just like they kind of got it down. There's a bunch of different functions and things that you can choose from in here. The track mode, I don't think I showed you guys that. That's kind of unique to this car. So if I come over here and go to the race mode, there was like a big video that played when I opened it for the first time, which is pretty cool. When you hit start, they give you a 10-second countdown before you can activate it, and you've got to read through all of this. Obviously, I can't read through it, but we still used it. And that's how you hit accept. This is where you can then adjust your torque distribution, very similar to Tesla track mode, front to rear, for example. And then you've also got your stability control. I was running it with it in 2. It still felt pretty intrusive at 2. And probably if I had a bit more room and a bit more time and it was a little bit less special of a car and I didn't want to kill Chris, I'd probably turn it all the way off. And normally that'd be okay. But again, that front rear power split for the motors just felt a bit odd. Then there's your regen braking settings and your steering gear, which I assume is just steering stiffness. The rear steer was super useful on some of those canyon roads. You also get this nice display here when you're in that track mode. Now this is Kimi Räikkönen mode, and this is a fantastic driver with a storied history who I guess pre-programmed his stuff. And this is the little video that plays. Nice, so that's Kimi Räikkönen mode. And you can hit start, and then you're in it, and that's it. It seems to do some pre-chilling. The fans have kicked on. Or is that your Lightning?
That's my Lightning.
Oh, that's the Lightning. Okay, good timing. And you can see it shows, like motor and battery temperature stuff and a lap timer if you need it. But essentially, you've got all that in there, and then it will save like a whole video of your track experience to your account, which is really cool. So absolutely love that. Think it's so neat. You've got your volume adjustment down here, very similar to Volvo, your shifter, nice storage everywhere. Like Chris was saying, you really absolutely can use this as a daily driver. You mind if I hand that over to you,
yeah,
Chris?
Absolutely.
And really, I just want to say a big thank you to Zeekr and to Chris for joining me for this video. What a cool opportunity it was to drive the 001 FR, a dream of mine, really. Ever since I heard about this car launching at the end of 2023, I think it went on sale like very early 24 or end of 23. It's been a dream to have a go. It certainly was kind of what I was expecting. I really think this and the Xiaomi SU7 Max would make a great side-by-side Chinese sports car comparison. This needs another round of tuning, but they're not far off. Thankfully, it does support fully over-the-air updates. And hey, feel free to have Zeekr give me a call. If you're watching this, Zeekr, call me up. Let's go finish the tuning on this thing so we can dial in all the oddities. But thank you so much for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. Hopefully it's not the last time you see me with this car, because I really want to get it out on track and do some big skids, because that's where I think this thing will shine. So thanks again to Chris for joining. I'll leave his channel linked in the description below. Please subscribe to him. He's doing some really cool stuff, especially with his new Lightning. And we'll see you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.